When the new 2020 Honda Fireblade was announced at the tail end of last year, it changed the landscape of sports bike production motorcycles. The new blade was the fastest, most powerful and most technologically advanced sports bike from Honda in modern times. And no longer did a machine need over 1000cc and an unconventional layout to produce in excess of 210 horsepower. But there's one machine that's been a member of the 200 horsepower club for some time now, and it's another bike that uses a conventional inline 4-cylinder engine layout. It also has bags of World Superbike pedigree that simply cannot be denied, and that bike is the Kawasaki ZX-10RR Ninja. The two bikes on test today are extremely evenly matched. The Honda, with its all-new development costs, comes in at a heady £23,499. That means on a £4,000 deposit, you'll be paying £320 a month for the pleasure of owning the fastest Fireblade in history. The Kawasaki is priced at £21,199, and a PCP deal on that bike with a £4,000 deposit will see you paying £264.80 per month. The Honda, though, does have some bells and whistles on that the Kawasaki doesn't, and that comes in the form of the Öhlins EC semi-active suspension system. But more on that later. One of the major changes to the Honda Fireblade for 2020 is the inclusion of a brand new 999.9cc engine. To help boost the power, the engine is decked out with finger followers, titanium rods, forged aluminium pistons, DLC coated everything. Power is a claimed 214 bhp at the rear wheel, and that arrives at 14,500 RPM. The Kawasaki puts out a claimed 204 bhp, which rises to 214 with the introduction of the Ram Air induction system. Peak power on that bike comes in at 13,500 RPM, and again we can see the two bikes are extremely evenly matched. The engine of the Kawasaki may not be as all singing and all dancing as the Fireblade, but what it does have is a decade's worth of World Superbike engine development behind it. To ride them, both machines have a very similar engine character, and they need to be revved before the big bucks power figures will arrive. If there is one bike that revs harder from lower in the rev range than the other, it's the Honda. It has a broader spread of torque, and it arrives lower and peaks later than the Ninja. The larger window of opportunity offered by the Honda makes it a slightly easier machine to ride, needing a less accurate pilot to still get decent results on the road and the track. It's clear that both these bikes are hard-edged sports machines that will almost certainly be the fastest moving object in whatever county it is that you're riding through, but there is still room to choose between them. The Honda's a much more compact place to be, requiring supple limbs to fold yourself into the diminutive riding ergonomics of the race-bred machine. Its seat-to-bed and bar position is lifted straight from the RC213VS road-going MotoGP machine, meaning it's great if you happen to be the size of Marc Marquez, but maybe a struggle if you're taller or more average weight of rider. The Kawasaki, on the other hand, is a much more spacious place to be, with a large fairing that will offer more protection against the UK's sometimes inclement weather. Handling wise, the Honda's race-bred DNA and World Superbike dreams are clear from the outset. Even on the softest suspension modes, the bike feels sharp and nimble, almost like a 600cc sports bike that's been hitting the gym too hard. I remember that prior to the launch for this bike in Qatar, I wanted it to still feel like a blade, despite the extra power. I didn't want it to lose its ease of use that this Honda had been known for since its birth. And it sort of hasn't. It is still a blade, but just more muscular, spikier and needing a firmer hand in fast and slow corners. It will work you harder and you will feel like you've been riding a more powerful bike when you've ridden it on track. The Kawasaki for me is the polar opposite to Honda, and it feels as smooth and plush to ride as any 1000cc sports touring machine. Despite its lower spec suspension, which is not electronic, the Showa 43mm forks and rear shock offer all the adjustment you'd need and a ride that is almost as good as the electronically shod Honda. It's quick to turn and holds a line with telepathic ease, only becoming unsettled by ripples on corner entry when carrying high amounts of lean angle and trailing the front brake. Of the two machines, I'd say the Honda would be faster around a track in the hands of a quick rider, but the Kawasaki in my mind would make a slightly more easygoing dancing partner. And in the turns at least, you just have to keep an eye on those gear changes. As already mentioned, the Honda is fitted with some top spec electronic suspension that this Ninja just doesn't have. There is of course the ZX-10R SE that features the KECS electronically controlled compression and rebound damping system, although for this head-to-head we really wanted to pitch the top of the range, both manufacturers against one another. What the Honda does have that the Kawasaki doesn't is a very nice TFT dash, which is both a good thing and a bad one, and let me explain. The dash on the Honda is superbly clear and very easy to read, even at 180 miles an hour down Qatar's main straight. But it is also a very complex bit of kit with a lot of different pages, menus and modes and ways of getting through to the bit of information that you need. It will take a lot of getting used to, especially if you want to make those changes to the electronic suspension, traction control, wheelie control and the rest of it. The Kawasaki on the other hand has a small LCD screen and a retro looking LED rev counter that whizzes across the top of the dash. It's fairly easy to read, but it's a much simpler layout and it made changing the riding modes, the traction control and so on so much quicker and easier. Another big talking point of the new Blade was the introduction of the aerodynamic winglets. Now, you're going to ask, could I feel the wings working as I rode the CBR1000 around the LaSalle circuit on the launch? No, not really. I couldn't put my finger on exactly what they were doing when they were doing it and how they were improving the ride, but the Honda does have an exceptionally composed front end, allowing faster riders to take liberties in quick corners and flattering the less experienced pilot. So the $64,000 question, which one should you go out and buy? While pricing and brand loyalty will help most people decide on the machine that's right for them, others will simply want the fastest machine to lap a circuit on a track day. For me, that bike is the Honda, but that speed comes at a cost. It's harder to ride, it's more complex, and it's more expensive than the Kawasaki. The Honda's compact ergonomics and dinky fairing will also offer road riders no place to hide, forcing you into a racing tuck for any sort of protection from the wind. And it's because of this hard-edged attitude and race-bred DNA, we think for general road riding and the odd track day, the Ninja would make a better companion for the vast majority of riders. It's comfy, it's good looking, it offers more power and performance than most riders know what to do with, and above all, it's a hell of a lot of bike for just over 20 grand. Which takes your vote in the Superbike shootout? Please let us know in the comments below. Also, to ensure you don't miss any future content from Visordown, please click like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. And for all the best news, reviews and motorcycle features, please head to visordown.com. Thank you for watching.